Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Mommy Budgets and I am Amanda. Today I am here to do day 8 of the 12 days of Christmas. Today is December the 21st. It is the first day of winter and also it is my youngest child's birthday. My youngest child is 16 years old today, so yeah, that is what's going on around here. We do not have any more babies around here in the home. So now, what am I going to talk about on day 8 of the 12 days of Christmas? Let's just think about that. Like I said, my goal is not to write down any scripts, just to think of a financial topic and talk about it. So, the topic, actually there were 2 topics that came to mind. One was investments and the other is retirement. So I decided to take the retirement route for this short, quick video. So for those that are new here, welcome to my channel. And for those who are not new, welcome back for another video. On this channel, we talk about anything related to finances and money and building wealth and retiring and being financially secure and all the like. So that's what we're doing here. So today we are going to talk about retirement. And to be exact, we are going to talk about our retirement number. Now, let's just stop and think for a moment. Do you really know what your retirement number is? I mean, there's probably no one on this earth that knows the exact number they're going to need when they are, ready to go into retirement mode. Well, you know what? Let's not really call it retirement. Let's call it our stop working phase, I guess, where we don't have to try and bring in money to sustain our lifestyle. So, do you know what that number is? Do you even know how to calculate that number? Are you just working and working and working and working and you hope after 40 years you have enough money to retire and live off of? No, we have to stop that. If you are of that mindset, we're going to stop that right now today. This is what I need you to do. This is going to be short and sweet. However, it is going to be very powerful because I do not think that there is enough of us that are out there doing this. We are going to find the number that we need, okay, for retirement. You need to write that number down. I don't care if you need to put it on your refrigerator, put it as a reminder in your phone, let the notification bell ding you every day to remind you of it so you can work toward that goal, whatever it is. I really don't care, but you need to make sure that that number stay in the forefront of your mind going forward between now and your time that you're going to stop making money, stop working, whatever you need. Now, if you get to the point where you got passive income coming in, I still probably would try and work toward my number. Once I know I have that amount set aside, then I would probably stop, being concerned about working or bringing in money or whatever it is, even if it's from a passive, not a passive, from a real estate piece of property or whatever it is, for me, what I would like to do is get to the number, have that number in an amount of money that is accessible to me at that time that I need to stop working or stop bringing in income. So let's dive right into this. How do we get that exact number? Now, this is what you're going to have to do. You might want to get a piece of paper and a pen and kind of follow along with me. I'm going to give you an example. We're going to go through the example. It's pretty simple, but you need to be able to do this calculation. All right. Step number 1 is to get a total number of the amount of money you will need per month. Now, you need to tally up every expense you think you will need throughout your lifetime from a monthly standpoint. So basically, your utilities, your rent or mortgage, you may not have that anymore. You may have housing taken care of. Hopefully I do. By the time you start working, I'm hoping that that isn't even an amount that you need to calculate. But let's just say that you do need to continue to pay for a place to stay, because some people don't want to buy a home, so you may need to continue to pay rent. Okay, so a place to stay, you're going to need that number. All of your utilities, light, gas, water, whatever, electricity, cell phone, whatever you feel you would want to put under the utility category, you need to gather all those numbers. Now remember, you're writing all this down for 1 month. Okay, so, and then there's clothing, there's transportation, there's food. Okay, so those are the essentials that you need to live. Those are going to be the essentials. Anything that you want to add on, travel, going to do different types of experiences, that would all be an added amount. However, if you feel you need to continue to do that month after month, year after year, until you transition out of this world, that number needs to be calculated in the monthly total. If you're going to have those experiences once a month or 10 times a month, whatever you think you will need, I need that number. So now that we have discussed all of the essentials pretty much that you will need, you need to write out that number. Let's just say that that number is $3,000 per month. Okay? So now we know that we need $3,000 per month to live. Okay? Next, that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to take that monthly total and multiply it by 12. Okay? So we're going to take that $3,000. I'm writing this example out. And we're going to multiply it by 12. So $3,000 times 12 equals $36,000. This gives you your yearly amount. So first we got our monthly amount, then we got our yearly amount. So in this example, it's $3,000 a month. Then the next multiplication is for the yearly amount. So you take that monthly amount times the number of months in a year, which is 12, equals $36,000 per year. So now we're at the point where we're in years. So we know we need $36,000 a year. However you decide you're going to bring in that income, that's what you need, $36,000 a year. Now that we have that, let's calculate roughly. We don't know exactly. Nobody knows how long they're going to live. So let's calculate. For me, I want to calculate that I am going to live another 50 years. I like to push it out. I rather be able to calculate more than not enough. So I'm going to say, hey, based on my age, I'm going to live another 50 years. Now that may be different for you because you may only be 20. And if you're projecting to live to be 100, you need to factor in 80 more years of ways to get this $36,000. Okay? So for me, I'm just going to say another 50 years. So now we're going to take that yearly amount, which is $36,000, and we're going to multiply it by 50. Okay? So at this point, I am actually doing paper math, so bear with me. So right now, that number is going to be, for me, a total of $800K. So roughly, I will need $800,000 if I was to say, hey, I want to stop working now, and live out the rest of my life for another 50 years. I would need $800,000 going forward from today up until the time that I transition. Okay, so like I said, we don't know, how long we're gonna live or whatever the case may be. But when you're calculating that monthly amount, you want to make sure you include everything you think you're going to need to live and sustain yourself. For some people, that's gonna be, a lot of extras and add-ons. For some people, it's just gonna be the basic needs, which is food, clothing, shelter, and transportation, bare minimum. So it just depends on what you want to do. But what I wanted to come on here and do is to make sure that you are thinking about and calculating that number. So right now, based on this example, I already know my number. Now, I'm not at this point in my life yet where I'm going to need $3,000 per month. Now, once I pay off my debts, this $3,000 will look more realistic for my lifestyle because I have done a calculation. But right now I still have a mortgage and I still have a student loan payment. So those are my two larger debts, and this $3,000 wouldn't necessarily work for my lifestyle right now. But once I have those debts paid off, I'm roughly looking at about $800,000 to get me through the rest of my life. Now, here's what's going to happen with that $800,000. What you got to realize is you will have to stick to the plan that you put in place. Now, just because you say, hey, I'm going to need $800,000 to live out the rest of my life, and you have that $800,000 sitting in an account, that does not mean that you can go out and have let's say a $5,000 month. You know what I mean? And because remember, we calculated $3,000 per month for me to live. So if I go out and I start, acquiring things and buying things outside of what I've calculated for, and I have a $5,000 month total of a transaction, $6,000, that $800,000 isn't going to sustain me for the next 50 years. Unless I do a month where I only spend $1,000. You know what I mean? You can kind of make it up on certain months, but on average, you need to make sure that your total amount roughly is $3,000 per month of expenses. That's where we are. That's the way we got to do it. But most importantly, guys, I really do want you to sit down and calculate that number. That number is going to get you to thinking about what you need to do as it relates to your finances going forward for the remainder of your life. Because if you're just out there working every day and you grinding and you putting money in this investment and that investment and you stocking away money over here and over there, that means nothing if you do not know how much money you're going to need to live. Because what's going to happen is you're out there doing that, putting those investments away and spending money here and taking this trip here or there. And when it's time for you to actually stop working, you don't know how much you're going to need. So then at that point, it's like you may only have $600,000 saved. But remember, we need $800,000 to live. So yes, it's very important that you sit down, come up with that number. Rewind this video, slow it down, because this is a very important video. You need to know how to come up, calculate, equate, however you want to look at it, your number that's going to sustain you throughout the rest of your life. Okay? So this is all I have for this video. This is Dr. Mommy Budgets. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Come along on this journey with me, because we're paying off debt over here. We're saving money. We're investing. We're doing all the things as it relates to finances. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.